So, folks, what it comes down to is very, very simple. There are only just a few things in this business that allow you to really move the needle. Like I just said a second ago, your thinking and your actions. You cannot control the outcomes. That's one of the tough things in this business for people is you can lead that horse to water, but sometimes they just don't drink it. That's the most frustrating thing because I'm a decision maker. I'm very decisive. And once I make a decision, I go with it. Okay. And sometimes you have people that him and haw, and they wouldn't know an opportunity if it smacked them in the face. Right. But unfortunately, that's the position we're in. However, there are some things we can do. So let's talk about that a little bit. Folks, I want you to write these in the chat and I want you to write them down on your paper, okay? There are three things that are bar none the most important things you can do in commercial real estate. And it's very, very simple, folks. It's prospecting, it's presenting, and it's following up, okay? These are the three key steps. Period. Bar none. If anyone tells you anything to the contrary, throw sharp rocks at them, please. Okay. If anyone tells you it's networking, if anyone tells you it's this, it's that, it's any sort of variation, no, it's prospecting, it's presenting, and it's following up. Okay. Now, let's dive into it a little bit. Type into the chat what your favorite form of prospecting is. Okay. So type into the chat what your favorite form of prospecting is. All right. Let's see. What do you think that might be, Amber? What do you think that might be, Olga? Sonia? Right? Favorite form. Okay. Lou says reading articles. Okay. Good. All right. Okay. Calls. Good. All right. Now we're scratching on the right path, folks. Anything that you can do on an ongoing basis, okay, is the thing that's going to be anytime you're reaching out to a human being on an ongoing basis, that is going to be effective. There are some things that make things more effective, okay? For instance, reaching out to the right person with the right message and at the right time. Woo-wee! There's nothing better than that. Why? You get to go after the thing that you actually want. Think of it this way, folks, okay? You can run into people at the gas station and hand them a business card and get a piece of business. Sure, that works. Like Amber said, daily interaction, that works. And there are people that make an entire career out of that, okay? But does it stand to reason that if you maybe profile people that own, let's just say, like $1 million+ properties, and then you went after them over and over and over again, guess what? If you only got leads from those people, you'd never get a lead for less than $1 million property. You with me, guys? So when you go after people with intent, folks, it changes the entire game. Okay. So while you can make money networking for leads, you can do it in the course of your daily life, in the grocery store, this, that, and that. Residential agents can, everybody needs a roof over their head. So like any place you run into other human beings, you have a potential, right? But in commercial, the amount of people is a lot smaller. So we have to be a little bit more intentional with what we do. Okay. So what I highly recommend, and I've done door knocking, and I've done letters, and I've done postcards, I've done all of that stuff. And the thing that bar none, 10x better than anything else, is picking up the phone and calling people. Why? The list that you create allows you to be very, very hyper specific, and then you get to be very, very consistent over and over and over again. Okay. Now, presenting. Can anybody type in the chat what they think presenting is? Okay. Very, very simple. What do you guys think presenting is? Very straightforward, guys. Whenever you are presenting or basically pitching your business to somebody else, okay? Hey, Mr. Seller, I want to help you sell your property for such and such price during such and such time. Exactly, Olga, a listing appointment, right? So when you're looking at it like that, well, shoot, that works. That works really, really well. Prospecting, presenting, okay? You prospect, then you get them to meet with you, and then you present to them. Very, very straightforward, okay? What I want you to also understand is, folks, okay, is you don't always get every single listing every single time. So what do you wind up doing? You wind up doing a lot of following. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that, folks. In fact, I would go on record as saying some of the best clients I had were not the ones that gave me the listing first off. Guess what? You know what they did? Sometimes I had to follow up and follow up and follow up until the time was right. But when the time was right, they made for great clients. Conversely, I've had people that signed on the dotted line the first day, and guess what? Just as they barely gave it any thought to sign the listing, they barely gave it any thought to try to cancel the listing or not live by the listing. Does that make sense, folks? Type of one in the chat if that makes sense. You guys with me? Sorry, a little dehydrated this afternoon, a little too much coffee. All right, so the point I want you guys to understand is you prospect, then you present, and then you follow up with the people every single Friday at 10 a.m. Okay? If you just block that time out in your calendar, Friday, 10 a.m., that's my follow-up time. You know what that means? Nothing else is more important for in that block of time. Okay, guys? So let's talk further. If you can do prospecting, presenting, and following up more than anything else in the business, guess what, folks? That's how you're going to make a lot of money, okay? So what you need to figure out in terms of your schedule is how do you do more of that than anything? More prospecting, more presenting, more following up. Does anybody have any idea? Okay. Because those aren't the only things we have to do in this business. In fact, let's talk about it, guys. We have to put properties on the market. We have to follow up with leads. We have to return phone calls. We have to send out marketing packages. We have to put stuff on the MLS. We have to schedule email blasts. We have to create email blasts, right? You with me, guys? We have to schedule showings. We have to do showings, on and on and on and on and on. You with me, guys? So I don't hear a whole lot of prospecting, presenting, and following up, right? And the average agent, and I know none of you guys are average agents, but if you were, what you'd find is doing all this other stuff that I mentioned takes away from your prospecting, presenting, and following up. So it isn't until we figure out a way to do more of the prospecting, presenting, and following up, and most importantly, making it a priority. Okay? So what I would recommend, guys, is put together a flow chart of your business. And it doesn't have to be complicated, folks. It could be item 1 is this, item 2 is this, item 3 is this, item 4 is this, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The reason why we do it, folks, if you go through your entire business, you probably notice that there's only about 12 activities, okay? And you probably notice there's about 5 or 6 or maybe even 8 of those activities that you don't need to be doing, okay? So the point I want to make to you folks is, all right, the sooner you get away from those low value activities, the better off you're going to be, okay? Now, here's the thing, folks. I want you to write this down. If you don't have an admin, you are one. I'm going to say it again, guys. If you don't have an admin, you are one, okay? Ask me how I get, I don't know, somewhere between 24 and 30 hours worth of work done every single day. Go ahead and ask me, guys. I'm not superhuman. I'm not a robot. How could I get 28 hours worth of work done today? All right.
You have Laura.
What's that?
You have Laura.
I have Laura. Yes, she is my right-hand lady. Exactly. Because there's only so many. I can only be in one place at one time. Last I checked. Okay. So by having people you can hand things off to, it allows you to do more of the things that only you can do. Is this landing, guys? Type an exclamation point in the chat if that's like a light bulb, right? Because it isn't until we free up the things that we don't have to do and do more of the things that only we can do that you really start maximizing your hourly rate. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. So let's do a quick analysis. All right. Everybody, I want you to do me a favor and type your hourly rate in the chat. Okay. If you guys don't know what your hourly rate is, okay, it's very, very simple. Take whatever you want to make in the next 12 months, and I want you to divide that by 2,000. Okay. So for instance, if I want to make $200,000 next year, I divide 200,000 divided by 2,000, and guess what? That's $100 an hour. All right. So let's do that calculation, guys. Do it real quick. Hey, El Therese, how are you? Good to see you. Awesome. So guys, take what you're okay. So it's $100 an hour. Amber's 125. Good, 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 good. Keep them coming, guys. Right? Because once you figure this number out, and you only have to figure it out once, okay, and you start applying the idea that if I don't do, like for instance, let's take Amber as an example, okay? Amber can't afford to do $10 an hour work. Why? Because it's going to drag down her average hourly rate. Does that make sense, everybody? Type a yes in the chat if that makes sense, okay? She can't do $10 an hour work because how the heck is she going to do $10 an hour work and $125 an hour work at the same time? Make sense, folks? Okay. So, but let's talk about what's $10 an hour work, guys. I gave you some examples before. I want you to type in the chat something that you're doing right now, something that you did today or this week that's only worth 10 or 12 or 15 bucks an hour. Type that in the chat. What's that look like to you guys? I want to get you guys thinking. Amber says, social media, emails. You better believe it. You think you can't hire someone halfway around the world that like someplace where the dollar is stronger to handle that stuff for you? I guarantee you won't pay them $125 an hour. Okay. Social media. Good, El Therese. Good, 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 good. Anybody else? Anybody else have any ideas? What about like putting a property on the MLS? Is that something that you could train someone to do and not have to? I mean, you can have guys, you can have help in other parts of the world for like $4 or $5 an hour. Okay. All right. Literally, like no jokes. Okay. You can literally hire people and think about it. Would you guys trade $20 a day to get 4 hours of your day back? Type a 20 in the chat if you would trade $20 a day to get 4 hours of your day back. Exactly. So Amber wouldn't have to work 12-hour days. She could only work 8-hour days, right? Okay. Olga wouldn't have to work 12 hours days. She could make 8-hour days, right? And you're trading it for $20. My point is, folks, the more prospecting, more presenting, more following up that you're doing, okay, it allows you to do the things that are going to really increase. And then that number, then once Sonia has someone in place that is doing all those things that she doesn't have to do, right? Or I should say that it doesn't pay for her to do, then she can start doing more of the important stuff. And then you have like this leveraged effect where not only is she doing less of the low value stuff, but she's then also doing more of the high value stuff. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. That's a big thing to think about because that's how your business doesn't increase by 30 or 50%. That's how your business doubles or triples. Okay. I went from 140 to 500 a year in a 2-year period. And during that time, I did 2 things. I learned how to take listings and I hired an admin. Very, very simple, guys. Okay. And I hired an admin about 6 months into learning how to take listings. Okay. By 6 months into it, I had about 12 or 14 listings. Okay. I didn't have enough time on my plate. You'll know when you need an admin, when you just aren't enough hours in the day to get all the stuff you need to done. That's when you can hire off other people and then start doing more of the important stuff. Okay. And it's all important. Not to say that the thing is important, but it doesn't need you to do it. Okay. It doesn't need you to schedule an email. It doesn't need you to schedule an email blast. It doesn't need you to do an Instagram post or what have you. Okay. So the places where you can hire these folks is you can find them on Upwork. Okay. You can find them on Fiverr. Those are some really good places to find people. You can create a free account and you can literally find help for about $5 an hour, Obviously, the more you pay, the better quality you're going to get. But it's amazing how strong the dollar is in other parts of the world. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. So let's continue on, right? Some of the strategies and mindset I want you guys to understand is, okay, you have to block out your time. Okay. Have you guys ever gotten to the end? Type a yes in the chat if you've ever felt this way. You get to the end of the day and you're like, man, where did the day go? I didn't get a chance to do all the things I needed to do. Type a yes in the chat. That's you. Yeah? Okay. Yep. Sonia's with me. All right. So the point is, folks, you need to be judicious with your time. There's only one block of time that you need to be, that everything else falls behind, and that's your prospecting. Okay. 8 to 10 every single day. Get that on the books. Why? Because if you don't, it'll never happen. If you don't, something else will always come up, or you'll actively procrastinate and you'll do something else. You'll work on something that doesn't need your full attention, and then you wind up never getting the important things done. Okay. Okay, so next up, guys, use your calendar as your guide, not your inbox. Okay, folks, when you are using your inbox as your guide, whose agenda are you on, yours or the other person's? Type it in the chat. What is it? Yeah. No. When you're using your email, your inbox as your guide, it's the other person's agenda. They need something from you. They want something from you, okay? As opposed to your calendar that you choose and you decide who it is, right? It's your agenda. That makes sense, guys? Okay? Cool. So, one of the ways that you can import people, or I should say, one of the ways you can bring people in, I should say bring activities in, is by using the Pomodoro method. Okay, it's 30-minute blocks. That's how you bring things onto your calendar and give it a 30-minute slot. And basically, the Pomodoro is very simple, guys. It's the amount of time it takes to make spaghetti Pomodoro. It takes about 25 minutes, and you just set a timer on your smartphone. And 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. Okay, because if you don't realize sooner than later, he or she who controls their day controls their income. Okay. Again, we only have two things to sell in this business: our time and our knowledge. If you're not controlling your time and giving it away for free, you're not getting paid. Okay. Because think of it this way, folks. How many of you ever felt like you get halfway through your day and you feel like your hair's on fire and you feel like you got a tiger by its tail and it's pulling you through your day, just completely out of control? Okay. I guarantee you, you're living in a reactive business and you're doing whatever you think needs to be done. And then you're reacting to every fire and every emergency that comes along. Folks, it happens all the time. Don't feel bad. But it's now incumbent upon you to block your day off. Are emergencies going to happen? Absolutely. But at least you'll be in control 80% of the time, 90% of the time, other than just showing up at the office, opening up your inbox and just trying to put out fires. Okay. We are not firemen and firewomen. We are real estate agents. Okay. Cool. So let's talk about the importance of prospecting, guys. Remember, the prospecting is very simple in the sense that it's the top of the sales funnel. Okay, sales funnel is very simple because how much you put in top directly determines how much comes in the bottom in terms of profit. Period. End of story. You put 2 times what you are putting right now in the top, you're going to get twice as much out the bottom. You're going to earn twice as much money. The more you prospect, the more you earn. It is as simple as that. Don't listen to anyone else. It's not a shiny object. You need to pick up the phone, talk to people. The more hands you shake, the more money you make. It's literally that simple. Okay. It's one of the only aspects of this business that we can control. Okay. So make sure you are controlling it. In the mornings, the best time to call are between 8 and 10 a.m. Okay. This is a chart from phoneburner.com. They've charted out millions and millions of emails and they figure out what is the best time for them to pick up. Okay. I'm sorry, millions of calls. Okay. And 8 to 10 is the best time. And then 4 to 6. Now, mind you, you're probably saying, well, wait a minute, it's a little higher in here. Yeah, but in the middle of people's day, people can't talk, but they can at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. And then finally, Saturdays, if you are going to do it before noon. You don't want to get a whole bunch of people. You don't want to be reaching out to a whole bunch of people too late in the day. All right, guys? So what's most important, folks, though, right? I don't know about you guys, but I don't brush my teeth 14 times on Sunday, right? Consistency matters when you're talking about dental hygiene. So you want to do twice a day, right? So consistency is important. Deals will fall through. If there's anything I could guarantee all you guys, it's that deals are going to fall through. But you know what? When you have so many deals going on, you say, oh, I just don't have time to prospect. That's when you need to do it the most. Why? Because we can't control the things that are outside of our control. We can't control deals falling apart, but we can control how much we prospect every single day. No ifs, no ands, no buts, every single day. And that's frankly, folks, why we want to get it out of the way in the morning when we're freshest, when we have the most amount of energy and we can go about our day. All right, folks? So remember, there's a natural quietness in the day. In fact, guys, tell me on average, what time of day does your hair go on fire? Okay. For those of you that I've absolutely felt it before. Okay. What time of day does that typically happen? Type it in the chat, guys. Bobby, Russell, Eves, Quincy, Amber, Donovan, right? Okay. All right. Susan, Slavic, Marcus, I want everybody to chime in on this. This is very important, okay? What time does your hair get lit on fire? I want to take a poll. We got 20 people on the call. Let's take a poll and see what that actually looks like. Oh, Amber says 3. Donovan says 5. Okay. Yep. Okay. Perfect. All right. 12. Okay, good. What I find is for most people I talk to, they start getting phone calls like towards later in the morning, 10:30, 11 o'clock. By noon, their hair is well on fire, right? So even more to the point, folks, okay, there's a natural quietness at 10 a.m., okay? That's the time for new business, okay? You can deal with those. That deal that's fallen apart, okay, will still be falling apart at 10:30. But the difference is if you handle it at 10:30 instead of 8:30, you got 2 hours of prospecting in. That makes sense, you guys? All right. And remember, you want to detach your input from the output. You don't know when that deal is going to close. All you need to be concerned about is input. And sooner or later, you're going to have plenty of business. Okay. Use your prospecting as your compass. There have been times, guys, where I prospected a building and it didn't sell for a full 2.5 years later. Okay. And if I had to wait on the momentum and the excitement of that building selling, all right, in order for me to pick up the phone and dial again, I never would have done it. Okay. 2.5 years is a long time. Okay. So I want you guys to understand, use prospecting as like your North Star, as like the direction you're heading in the distance, right? Very, very important to understand. Now, why do we use the phone? It's very simple. It's highly leveraged. You don't have to be present like you do at networking or door knocking, okay? You can leave messages and there is a cumulative effect. I like to say it's like leaving pennies in a piggy bank, okay? You can drop messages. Be careful. Nowadays, there are some laws around that, so check with your local and state laws, okay? And the fastest way you can add rocket fuel to your business is to add a dialer to your technology. Okay, it'll speed things up really, really quick. Okay, so final thoughts, guys. Very, very simple. Everybody knows you have to prospect. Everybody knows you have to present. Everybody knows you have to follow up. My recommendation is just do it. Okay. For some of you, you might want to warm up your dials with email, letters, or postcards. That's totally fine. Track your numbers like your business depends on it, because it does. Remember, that first call in the morning is always the hardest. But if you went out there and you got yourself a dialer, you got yourself an accountability partner, it gets easier. I promise, folks, okay? Because the better you get at it, the easier it becomes, okay? And frankly, folks, prospecting is hands down the highest money producing activity, period, end of story. All right, folks? So I'll leave you with that. Look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Thanks so much for being here, folks. I'll see you around. Take care. Bye-bye.